Judy Alter, Dr. Judy Alter, please come up here and explain our situation in LA County and California.
How is the mic? Am I all right? Hi, folks. Pardon? Little closer. Okay, I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to thank our GK. I want to thank Mimi for this wonderful panel, Dick and Sharon for, having this double panel, and all of the activists that have done this wonderful work. All right. We're hand-counted paper ballots, Protect California Ballots. We stand for hand-counted paper ballots, and you have to know that banks hand-count their money every night before they go home. And that's why, our ballots are equally valued to money. That's why they want to steal them. So we have to hand-count paper ballots. That's the only way you know if anything is accurate around the world. Okay. The bill SB 360 on our website, protectcaliforniaballots.org, has many, many flaws, and that bill is what has empowered our new system, the expensive pencil. We have a ballot marking device. The law says that if the county owns the system, LA County is now contracting with Smart Tech. Bob, you heard how bad Smart Tech is. But we'll own it. Smartmatic. Oh, Smartmatic, okay. Okay, they haven't made the code yet. It's owned by the county and uses disclosed or open source software, and it's used in a pilot. You ready for this? The machines will not be tested and certified before use. They will not be tested and certified before use. SB 360 took out independent federal election double checking, testing and certifying. It took out independent California testing and certified, and gave the Secretary of State all the power to get the ballot certified, appoint the people who do the testing, and there is no oversight. It's going to happen in March 2020, and we're trying everything we can to stop to have these new expensive pencils being used without being tested and certified. They're going to be tabulated with a QR code. Now, in our table back there, we have a picture of a QR code. It's a barcode. And so we don't know whether your selections will actually be in it unless you have an app on your phone, and not everybody has that. But it's still secretly counted on computers. Okay. And I'm into the weeds now. When you have a ballot marking device and it prints out your ballot and you look at it, it's called selections only. That means it's supposed to print out what contests and candidates you voted for and which you did not. None for which you did not. That's the problem. You have to have your sample ballot for which you used to compare to the selections only on that paper ballot, because of course they could leave out some of your selections. And unless you know that and you need to check it, that's another limitation of this expensive pencil, this ballot marking device that's going to be tabulated on a QR code. This is in the law, that they can use this without testing. We're terrified to have this, in this. Even in a pilot, they want to pilot with every language group, and you saw there are 9 language groups. Anyway, we have lots of detail, and our appeal to Alex Padilla to just independently test and certify, and he said they will, and I quoted him the bill that said they won't. So we have all this dialogue, all the problems. There are several more problems in SB 360 that are hair-raising, in addition to, we took out the independent testing. Okay, let me tell you, Mimi gave you the positives about the new voting center bill, SB 450. Okay, luckily it's an option in California. Many counties can choose to use it or not. Everybody will be issued an absentee ballot. Now, I want to walk into the myths about voting by mail, absentee ballot. Years ago, and even the Democrats said, oh, it increases voter turnout. Well, the facts they were using were Washington State and Oregon, who had initially the highest voting turnout in the country before they used absentee. Everybody. Their turnout went down when they issued all ballot issued by mail. So the idea that vote by mail is increasing turnout is a myth. Okay, so SB 450 with the voting centers is for everybody to have an absentee ballot. And you can mail it in, you can hand it in, or we now have ballot harvesting. Now, that sounds like what it is. Our absentee ballots right now, if you want somebody to hand it in and you don't mail it or bring it in yourself, you put on the envelope, the pink envelope, to whom you are handing it to hand in, right? So one person hands in one ballot. Ballot harvesting allows anybody to bring in any number of ballots. In 13 states, it's a felony to do that. Okay, now let me talk to you about the issues of the voting centers. There are seniors, there are hospitals that are sent, many people that can't get to a voting center, and there are those, are used to walking to their precinct. We have 5,780 precincts in LA County. Now we will have, I thought it was 800 voting centers. Now, not all of them will be open for 10 days. If we have details on our website about if you have local cities, they're open for 3 days. If you have this number of people, they're open for 5 days. So not everybody is going to have an option, for the 10 days. So that's also important to know. Now, I'm in the weeds. Judy always gives detail. Okay. They're closed at night, and there's a kind of mailbox into which you can drop any number of absentee ballots. Good security, right? And you either break the camera or just put, I guess people have seen it on television, you put a coat over it, and you do whatever you want in or out of those mailboxes. And this is our chain of custody. Chain of custody. How many ballots you give out, how many are voted on, how many are not, how many are spoiled, and all the count has to be the same as what you started with. The shortest chain of custody is election day. It's 1 day, right? You start, you stop, boop. Absentee ballot is the longest. It's 29 days. We, among other things in LA County, forced the chain of custody in the absentee ballot room. Those ballots come in for 29 days, and they go to 8 stations, and we forced them to actually batch and date and assign who handles which ballots, because they didn't have that in the biggest county, and you heard the numbers. Okay, the intermediate chain of custody is early voting centers, and you heard Mimi already talking about the security, what's happened to the ballots at night and who's observing. We observed the collection centers on election night, our group, or we have people who've done that. But who's going to be observing all those centers for the 10 days of the ones that are open? So this opportunity to go to voting centers is fraught with layers of challenge and insecurity and personal problems. Let me see what else. I told you that. Okay. We're using electronic poll books. What does that sound like? You know, when you sign your credit card name, does that look like your name? Does that match the signature on your registration card? And what if they fail, and they're famous for failing? And they're not supposed to, nothing in our elections is supposed to be connected to the internet. But the electronic poll books are connected to the statewide database. Oops, we're on the internet for signing in. This is what's coming in LA County. The model, this is Dean Logan, our registrar, we've gotten him to follow 5 laws that he was breaking. One was a felony. He modeled the voting centers on Colorado. Colorado has 2 big cities, and because they were a touchscreen county, state, about 70% of the voters voted by mail. We heard this from the Secretary of State from Colorado. So they were used to, driving to the vote centers. In suburban, urban, way out in the boondocks. California doesn't have that model at all. We have big cities all over. The model doesn't work. And give you one more insight. I wonder if you know our neighbor, Orange County. Neil Kelly does a really remarkable job of processing his ballots. He did a pilot of 7 voting centers a year ago. He will never, never, never use the voting centers because of what he learned. We're having difficulty finding 700. They have to have connectivity, they have to have access, they have to have parking, they have to have handicap, they have to have so many. I have this all listed summarized on our website in all this detail. So they are so problematic in California and in our big county that they sound good, but they have very serious limitations. Okay, one more minute. So what do we need? Well, we need to stop the uncertified and untested machines. We need legislators who will listen and fix the election code so we can use sort, stack, count the fast way that banks do instead of the slow way that we do our audits. We need legislators who, one, don't want to challenge elections, so we haven't gotten anybody. Debra Bowen helped us. And Debra Bowen got California's all-paper ballots. All paper ballots. The thing is, they have to be counted accurately, and human eyes and human hands and human brains have to do it. And it's a very big uphill battle. So.
Perfect, Judy.
Thank you.